And welcome to another episode of Tiger Territory, a Detroit Tigers podcast. I'm Kieran Steckley. As always, the man whose writing has more flavors than Dr. Pepper. He is Cody Stavenhagen. How you doing?
Hey, doing good, Kieran. Pretty nice weekend for the Tigers, I guess. Wasn't all perfect, but a series win, which we haven't seen a lot of here in recent days. Are things trending back up? The division lead is 6 games. When it hit 5 on Saturday, I think everyone was ready to fully panic, and now 6. Something about 6 just feels better than 5. That's my scientific analysis for the AL Central race.
Yeah, the way I kind of think about it in my mind is, was this series something that saved their season? I would say no, because you still have what is actually still a sizable lead in the division. You're still right there for seeding and all that stuff. And there's still plenty of games to be played. But I think it's a fair statement to say it might have been an identity-saving series, and more specifically, an identity-saving Friday night. Because you want to talk about sky falling. Like, if there's a way for like things to unravel and make one game seem like huge, it's when it's all right. Hey, we got Scooball on the mound, and he's going to take care of business. This is not an offense that we should really be all that concerned about. And then he does something that he has not done in 4 years and gives up back-to-back home runs. You see what I'm saying? And 2 in an inning for the first time in 3 years. And like all these like random stats that you're just like, oh God, if that's happening right now, what are we going to rely on? Well, it turns out you kind of rely on the grit. Like that was like for the first time in a while with the moments and the guy stepping up. That was a gritty win Friday, captivated obviously by Matt Vierling's 3-run home run in the 8th inning. I that to me felt big. That felt big, and 2 days later, it still feels big. But obviously, you were there. You wrote about it. Can you kind of take us to Friday and what that and what that was like, especially for a guy like Vierling that we're gonna have to talk about for other reasons here in a second, but had really been like struggling to be himself this season.
Yeah, I think there was a reason there seemed to be a strong emotional reaction to that victory from fans. And the reason it was probably the 6th, 7th inning, I had a colleague message me, what happened to the gritty Tigers? And I think a lot of people were kind of feeling that way, right? It was like, I don't know, they're losing again. Even Scooball's getting beat now. And they don't really do that whole comeback thing anymore, right? They're not really scrapping and clawing for every 90 feet anymore. We just haven't seen that style of play. Maybe haven't seen quite that emotion. Certainly haven't seen that flair for the dramatic in a while. It was pretty easy to look at this team, look at the construction of the bullpen and be like, oh, yeah, this one's probably over. Then up comes Matt Vierling, who had 0 home runs all season, who had not gotten going, who I have been pointing to as like a pretty key player for the Tigers down the stretch, someone you got to get some production out of. Boom, one swing of the bat, a huge home run. A little bit of the human side of my job. My mom and her husband were actually in town, so I was out watching with them in the stands, and everyone's going crazy, losing their minds, and I'm just like, I have to write now. Like I have to, like I had a Riley Greene story all ready to go. It's like, all right, I'm gonna file it. We can get out of here. We can go do whatever. No, sorry, I'm gonna have to write. I don't really know like how I don't know what's happening now. So that was my reaction as the rest of Comerica Park was completely losing its mind. And then even AJ Hinch, the master of win today's game, said after that game that, well, some of them kind of mean more than others. And Matt Vierling said it felt more than just a normal August win. Something about it did. Something about it seemed, I think, to remind everyone that, oh, yeah, this team can do that. This team can thrive in that sort of setting. This team can come up big. It can have unexpected contributors like Troy Melton help them to a win. And that just maybe it was the type of swing that could get Matt Vierling going. I guess that leads us to a more unfortunate conversation because the Tigers lost Saturday and Sunday morning. They lost Vierling. But for at least one night there, the gritty Tigers did indeed feel back.
Yeah, and sticking with Friday for a second, like it brought me back to last year when Vierling. I mean, it was in the City Connect uniforms. It almost looked the same, except this one was a little bit more of a moonshot comparatively, especially for Vierling. But it brought me back to his walk-off home run last year against Toronto. And I know this wasn't a walk-off, but you see what I'm saying. And like that was a moment of the season. Like if you remember the 24 Tigers, that will be in that montage. And this one very well could be if the Tigers go on to, whatever, CS, World Series, whatever, any sort of heights. I do believe this will be on the montage of moments for the team, because it felt like the climb back of momentum. That's what it felt like. It felt like this is who we are. Like I said, the identity aspect of it, and it felt it felt very important because it's School Bowl day. You got to win, even if School Bowl doesn't have his best stuff. Well, let's get back. Let's go to the Vierling injury. That's really kind of the topical thing. It's an oblique. We know obliques are weird. Reading some of the coverage about it, it seems like, I don't know. Could that Vierling home run be the last we really see of Matt Vierling this year? I feel like reading between the lines, it feels like it's in the cards, but I don't know. What did AJ and all them have to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing was no one really was coming in to the clubhouse that morning expecting Matt Vierling to be injured. We saw Trey Sweeney show up. Talked to Trey Sweeney a little bit. He was like, "Yeah, I got the call last night. It wasn't official until this morning. It was easy to think that would be related to Winsel Perez, who had injured his foot the night before." And then AJ Hinch gets up at the dais for his interview, and nope, it ain't Winsel. It's Matt Vierling. And I think everyone in the room just kind of went like, ugh, like really? Because right after he finally gets going, right after a big hit, the guy's back on the IL, his third IL stint of the year. He's missed the vast majority of this season, dealing with a shoulder injury, never fully got going. And then here it is again, something AJ Hinch said he wasn't even really aware of it until after the game. He got word that Vierling had gone in for testing. Turns out he had been playing through this for a while, felt like, I guess, a minimal pain, something he could manage, something that was really only affecting him if he whiffed. But turns out he's going on the injured list. Test showed that he needed it. Hinch said the severity of it is mild, but he clearly needs to go on the IL. And AJ was the one who brought up, like, we've not eliminated the chance for him to come back, talking about this season, this regular season. Or maybe even the postseason. He kind of said that unprompted, which I guess you should take as good news, but the fact he brought up like this could be season ending, I think also planted that seed in everyone's mind. Let's be real, obliques, mild or not, can often take 4 to 6 weeks just for a hitter to be back active again. And you start looking at the calendar and you do some math, and there's a world in which this could indeed be dicey for Matt Vierling's season. That'd be a real shame. Obviously, he's a huge part of this, but he's only played 31 games this year.
Yeah, I mean, just an unfortunate, year for him for many aspects. I'm sure it's very frustrating to be out, number one, and then watch the team do so well, and then when it struggles, you're not being able to contribute, and then again, you have the moment, and then this happens. It's just it's a cruel game. It's a tough sport. And it's a cruel game. And we're going to talk about Sunday's game, which, if you're a Tigers fan, was really not that cruel. It was a lot of fun. But first, a word from our sponsors.
We have a little breaking news on HelloFresh. We've talked about them for a long time, but this summer, they have their biggest menu upgrade yet. Ready for this, Todd Father?
Talk to me.
They have doubled their menu. Doubled. Now you can choose from 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. 100 options per week.
That's incredible. But to start out, what they had before was absolutely perfect. Now to add even more for your go guys like me. I got baseball in the morning. I got baseball afternoon, all day, every day. I need something to get going. I need something to eat, and it's absolutely delicious, Scott.
That's right, Todd Father. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/FT10FM right now to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on a first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That is HelloFresh.com/FT10FM. 10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life.
All right, coming back here, we're not going to talk much about Saturday because I feel like I've said the Charlie Morton thing a couple times now. But in regards to Sunday's game, that, again, is part of the whole series picture where you have the gritty win and then you just have the, we're just better than you outing.
Yeah.
And it's led by Riley Greene. It's led by Kerry Carpenter. It's Zach McKinstry doing his thing. It was like a lot of key elements that you are looking for this team to go over the top contributed to it. So that had to be a pretty good clubhouse Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it was a getaway day, so the guys were kind of filing out quickly. But, they entered facing Angels starter Jack Kachanovitz. He had a 4.85 ERA. He had not been very good. His stuff on paper, it's just not very good. It was easy to look at that and be like, Tigers might have a nice day. It was also easy to look at that and be like, how many times have we kind of said that this year? They're facing some no-name pitcher or a guy who struggled, and
a lot this week.
What if they get shut down? That didn't happen. They jumped on him early. I think 8 of 9 guys in the order had hits. Avi Baez at one point had a hit that was later changed to an error. Kerry Carpenter contributed. Riley Greene contributed. Certainly nice to see. Even had enough of a pad to withstand a rough bullpen showing from our friend Rafael Montero, but they got the job done. I think it was good all right. They didn't play down to the level of the opponent. They had good at bats. They worked a few walks, believe it or not.
Yes.
There were just some good things that happened in the Sunday game all around. Mize was far from stellar, but kind of an old school, like gritty, to use that word again, Casey Mize outing. He wasn't using the splitter a lot. He said that was actually more a function of their lineup, 7 right-handed hitters. He thought he could get him chasing the slider, the slurve, and he didn't get a ton of swing and miss. The stuff wasn't great, but you look at the line, 5 innings, 2 runs. You'll kind of take that anytime.
Yeah, as soon as they got up 7-0, my first thought was, we're going to see Montero. I was like, it's about to be Montero time. There's money time and there's Montero time. But another element that I actually didn't want to overlook about Sunday was, you get Vest in there, and I almost think the 4-run lead might be like the ideal Will Vest like sweet spot, where like we know AJ views the 4 runs as safe situations in his mind. And Vest is a guy that it's close enough that the adrenaline is there, right? And then also there's enough of a cushion that if his fastball is just a little less zip, he can withstand a little bit of damage and still zero in on time. So it was nice to see Vest kind of in that closer-ish role and do his thing there too. So I thought that. So I'm making note of that right now. 4 runs. That might be I don't know if the stats back it up, but that might be the ideal Will Vest 9th inning or 8th inning really cushion for the kind of guy that he is. So I just want to make note of that.
Can you believe that there were people on the internet like basically saying Kerry Carpenter is not any good not that long ago? Or that he's not like an important part of the team. And now we're all the way back to people like, Kerry's got to play every day. He's got to play against lefties. Again, hard to have rational takes, but Kerry Carpenter has continued to emerge. He has 5 home runs since he's come off the injured list. He's hitting above 350. He's just been really good. We've talked before how he kind of has this intrinsic value, or just the value of his presence, and how it forces in-game decisions for other managers. Well, it's not just been the presence, the name on a piece of paper lately. It's been pretty close to the best version of Kerry Carpenter, really gotten going. He actually said he found something, a slight mechanical tweak, about a week before he went on the injured list. And if you look back, he did have a couple big hits right there before going on the IL. Said he spent the whole time he was injured just trying to make sure, he still had that locked in. So sure enough, he's come off the IL. He has played quite well. He's been a complete difference maker, changes the complexion of this lineup. We've said it time and time again, but we're really seeing it here lately. And we're seeing it, let's be real, at a time where the team needs it.
Yeah, I mean, there's the presence aspect of it. It plays itself out in ways that, the AJ phrase, the moves that don't happen. You know, like I don't know if Kikuchi throws over 100 pitches on Saturday. If
Not
if
trying to get him
you
through
know, without the Carpenter element there. Now, obviously, that's a loss, but you understand what I'm saying. Like that was a piece of the game. And just to put in perspective on this homestand, 7 of 20, 9 ribbies, and 3 home runs. He now, I believe, it's a career high for Kerry Carpenter, 21 home runs. And it does feel as though there is like a getting hot at the right time piece to Kerry Carpenter. And also, I don't know if this is something that he's doing or he's gonna do more, but the freeze at the end of the follow through,
Yeah, I like it.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, and that might be a new thing. That might be part of the tweak too. Is that like I'm gonna let this hang there for a second, and then also Riley Greene gets going there as well. So that was as good to see it as anything too. And by the way, for everyone who harps on the swing path, is he getting that home run out today without that uppercut? Probably not.
I don't know. Hey, 3 line drive or 3 balls in the air, 100 miles an hour or more. 2 of them really, really pure line drives. Again, needed. We've rode this roller coaster with Riley all season, so I don't want to say he's back or he's not back. But I think it felt good. I think he was maybe really starting to feel the slump and feeling the strikeouts add up. You look, and he's on pace to finish this year in the top 10 for single season strikeouts. And if he strikes out like he has over the past month or so, he could break that record, which belongs to Mark Reynolds at 223. He's on pace for about 212 right now. Even this weekend, it was a better weekend. He did punch once in all 3 games. I thought it was interesting he did not start Saturday against a lefty. His numbers against lefties this year, not too good, despite a reputation as being a lefty who can handle lefties. I'm not sure Carp is going to magically get all those at bats, but I'm going to be a little bit curious to see how AJ handles that going forward. Riley's hitting 209 with only a 578 OPS against left-handed pitching this year, only 2 home runs. That's kind of a real concern, but let's hope the worst of kind of this real dry spell from Riley is over.
Anything that you heard or said about Wenzel? You mentioned the foot, and obviously we all thought.
I don't know a ton about it. AJ claimed he would be ready to go if needed. Said he saw him in the morning, and Wenzel was upbeat as ever. I saw Wenzel walking around a little bit. He looked okay to me. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. That's far from any sort of medical report, but vibes seem good for now.
How about Trey? How was because here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like with this Vierling injury, we don't know about Parker. This might be your squad here for a second, Cody.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too that the Tigers brought up Trey Sweeney when we thought it was Wenzel who was going on the IL. It was kind of like, okay, switch hitter, guy who's going to play some center. And then it's Vierling, and they did trade a right-handed bat for a left-handed bat. I think AJ had really been liking kind of having the extra righty off the bench. That played a big factor in Vierling getting that pinch hit at bat Friday. Andy Ibanez could have been available, but he kind of had more options at his disposal, and Matt slides more naturally into the outfield and maybe handles velocity a little bit better. I kind of like that. It feels to me there have been a lot of times this year, Kieran, where suddenly there's a lefty in the game, and the Tigers, maybe they've already used a Jahmai Jones, and they could really kind of use another trustworthy right-handed option off that bench. They hadn't had that until recently. Now you don't have it again. They brought up Trey Sweeney instead of someone like Justin Henry Malloy. It's a little bit unclear, at least to me, how all these parts are going to match. I assume we're going to see some more Javi in center, and thus maybe some Trey at short. But I do think you could have got by even had you brought up a guy like Malloy, because you could play Javi in center and McKinstry at short, which we've seen a lot more of recently. You could still play some Wenzel in center, Javi at short. I think the thing with Malloy is just how are you going to get him guaranteed at bats. Sweeney, you're going to have the platoon advantage a little more often. Maybe that's what plays into it. the Tigers are going to need to see something from Trey Sweeney in this stretch here, because you said like maybe this is the team you're going to take into kind of the rest of the season. That doesn't necessarily get me fired up, just because Trey Sweeney has not been very good this year. Seemed like he had a productive time in Toledo, made a couple little adjustments, had been stinging the ball well, I believe, his last few games down there. There's going to be some pressure on him to produce. We'll see what the playing time ends up being, but he can't just be a black hole. The Tigers kind of can't afford that.
No, for definitely, and like I'm about at the end of the line for me with not necessarily Trey the player, but Trey the front office really likes X, Y, Z about Trey Sweeney. It's like, okay, that's fine, but we have a pretty good sample size of just like closer to a black hole than not in a lot of areas offensively. Even defensively, he was not as sharp as I believe he is.
No, he's graded out slightly negative.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to get way ahead and think toward next year, like who's your shortstop? So I'm not sure you're feeling good about Javi being your everyday shortstop, but I'm not sure you're feeling good about Trey Sweeney being your best alternative either. This is a time for Trey Sweeney to show something that could influence the what the Tigers do this offseason and the construction of next year's team.
For sure. And I would love to see Jahan get another shot too. I just was looking at his stats, nearly 900 OPS in Toledo this year. And, I want to say wasting away, but I just don't think
it's tough. It's tough when you don't have a position.
Yeah.
Whether it's fair or not, the Tigers clearly don't like him playing a lot of outfield. It's easy to get squeezed into a spot like that where you're just not getting the opportunity. And that's clearly where Jahan is at right now. I think the defense and just kind of his limitations there explains it as much as anything. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I'd kind of prefer to see Jahan over Trey personally, but I think that's what it's about.
Yeah. And, seeing Jahmai Jones go after that ball in left field on Saturday makes me think, okay, is Jahan really that bad? Is he really that bad? I know it's not that simple, but
that might be part of it too. You're going to have Jahan and Jahmai and Andy all on the same roster. Maybe that gets to be a little too duplicate there.
All of a sudden, your up-the-middle athletes are shrinking first. All right, we're going to get to a funny little trend at Comerica Park this season. But first, a word from our sponsors. The dog days of summer means it's time for the boys of summer to kick it into gear. And the best way to cash in on your baseball IQ is with DraftKings Sportsbook. Never bet on baseball before. It's simple. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That is code FOUL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
All right, coming back here this weekend, Cody, obviously several emotionally uplifting events for the Tigers in a series win, and pretty much exclusively all the emotional were Angels home runs, man. They hit 3 on Friday and 3 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And it seems like this is a little bit of an uptick for the Tigers pitching. Now, in the American League and in Major League Baseball in general, they're pretty close to middle of the pack or right at middle of the pack in terms of home runs allowed. So it's not like this is a debilitating trait for the team. But it does seem like it's happening more. And apparently, statistically, some stats at least back that up.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain all the homers we saw this weekend. It did seem like the ball was flying. It felt like the ball's been flying a little bit. At Comerica lately, I think of the Kerry Carpenter homer, early in the homestand that had a 42-degree launch angle. And it's like, how did that thing get out of here? I didn't think it fooled me. I think a lot of these pitches, with the exception of the Shonywell home run on Sunday, were kind of down the middle. So that's as close to an explanation as I'm going to arrive at. Although, to quote Jim Leland, like, pitchers make mistakes all the time. We only talk about when it gets hit. For whatever reason, they sure got hit, or at least a lot of them did in this series. But something Dan Dickerson pointed out that kind of blows my mind. Comerica Park been pretty favorable for home run hitters. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's a little bit small here on our YouTube, but Comerica's playing above league average in terms of its park factor for home runs this year. That has not happened very often in the history of the ballpark. It has not happened since 2016, I believe, at all. Comerica ranks 8th in terms of park factor for home runs. For some reason, the ball, this is for both home and away teams. For some reason, the ball is traveling at Comerica this year, and it's been more friendly to home run hitters.
Well, this should be a handy-dandy chart for any slugger that is offered a contract by the Tigers, maybe a third baseman who's playing in Boston. Who knows? That is uncanny, and sometimes we let reputations or what intentions were. It was obviously intended to be a pitcher's park, and it just doesn't always play out that way. You know what I mean? So, like, at this point for this year, you have to re-examine what you think of Comerica in terms of home runs, because, I mean, the numbers are the numbers. You are muted.
There are a few interesting things. Some of the parks you would think would be, a haven for home run hitters haven't necessarily played that way as much this year. I mean, Great American Ballpark is 12th. Comerica is more favorable for homers than Great American Ballpark. Like, what is going on here? I don't have any explanation for that one, but I think it's highly interesting.
Yeah, well, it might be a really fun off-season deep dive project there, and get some people that are smarter than you and I to explain that, because I think that would be a lot of fun. Oh, all right, Cody. Anything else before we jet out of here?
No, I think that's all I got. A little road trip coming up. Always helps to play the White Sox, right? That can be uplifting for the spirits. One thing to remember, the Tigers have a pretty weak schedule from here on out. But the back end of that road trip is in Minnesota. The Twins maybe have figured something out, or at least they've been playing well of late. So is that actually an easy series? I'm really excited to watch that one based on how the Twins played not long ago in Detroit.
I entered the week saying it was a potential get right week, and obviously Minnesota series not so much. Angel series, like we talked about, a lot of factors in the get right category for this team. So you would hope that the White Sox would continue that trend, but it's a tough sport. All right, you can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Cody Stavenhagen. I'm at Kieran _Steckley, pod page at Tiger Territory _ Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are only 98,000 away from 100,000, Cody. So, like, let's get there, because I think you get a cool little plaque. Wouldn't that be nice? So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go to TigerTerritoryShop.com to get Tiger Territory merch. Rep your favorite podcast. Apple, Spotify, you guys know the drill. We appreciate all of you. So for Cody Stavenhagen, I'm Kieran Steckley. Everybody have a great day.